Hello, good evening, everybody. It's Levi here, and welcome to my first ever video. Um, I guess the reason why I decided to do a video this evening, because I had a few things that I was doing earlier today. I actually, some time ago, earlier today, I actually caught up with Justin Farina. I haven't seen Justin Farina for a very long time. I've seen him obviously a few times after the annual event from last year. And I know there's some people as well in the US. At the moment at the annual event in US. So we're definitely expecting people to come back. So I had a chat with Justin earlier today, obviously around your health, what's new, bringing back new things, and of course just the culture that we used to be part of. That just the whole experience that people did love about your health, the fact that we're one of those companies that had an amazing culture, that just found nowhere else, right? So yeah, so we had a great catch up. I guess the reason why I caught up with Justin, which I called him prior to the catch up a couple of days ago, is that I had a really interesting experience, and this is why I wanted to share with everybody. Initially, we were gonna be like, just talk about it in a post, this and that. But Justin said, you know what? Since because you went to the to since you had that experience, actually I might get you to actually do the video just to share with everybody and see what went down. So basically, what happened was, I by accident or by surprise, I ended up in an actual Mway PBR presentation. That was on Monday this week. How it all happened, I'm gonna tell you. So I went to Cash Converters last week on Thursday to get some personal loan. I had to get my car out of the mechanic, and I didn't have the cash for it. I did had the cash, but I just didn't know that my pretty much that my payment from work will come on time anyway, because usually my payment doesn't come till like 6 7 in the evening, whatever. So yeah, so I went and took out the personal loan so I can then obviously pay it off for the car, and then I would just repay that personal loan back again to Cash Converters. And yeah, so I met a gentleman. His name is Angelo. He's a Filipino guy, works in finance at Cash Converters at Stone's Corner. Long story short, I knew one of his friends that comes into the club that I work for. So I have a residency club in the valley, and I DJ there, and I knew one of his friends. So because I knew one of his friends, it just became an exciting conversation. He's just a gentleman that's just got, a positive vibe, enthusiastic, and he's just genuine. So we exchanged contact numbers on our spot here and there. We were talking about ambitions, where we want to be. For him, he wants to retire in the age of 30. By the time he gets to age of 30, he want to make sure that he's actually retired, not working for nobody, for anyone forever, right? And this is the dream and the goal that we all want to do, right? So yeah, so we exchanged numbers. Then the next day on Friday, I think it was about midday, Angelo messaged me. He actually called me, but then I was at work. Then he messaged me. He was just saying, "Oh man, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Brisbane, it's such a small world. We happen to know people that we know." So I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then he goes to me, "Well, I'd like to know if you have a time free on Monday next week." And because usually I have a basketball game, so I usually have a basketball game, and I usually don't do anything else but go to the game, come back, this and that. So he goes, "Man, dude, man, I'm glad that you don't have anything planned out on Monday. Let's meet up." He goes, "I have business partners that I'd like to introduce you to. And definitely you seem like a guy that I think you're gonna love these business people that I'm working with." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." So he picked me up on Monday, picked me up from South Bank. We went to the meeting. Along the way as well, we're talking about dreams, aspirations, goals, where we want to be, the place that we want to go to, the house that we want to own, the cars that we want to drive. Just, one of those guys that you can relate to a lot. So yeah, so we got to the meeting. He introduced me to a few people here and there. Now, so obviously we sat down on a table, and obviously we started talking some more. Then I started opening up to him, letting him know that I also, did a couple of network marketing companies before. One of them was ACN, and I did Amway twice. Then Angela goes, "Oh, guess what, Levy? This meeting is actually for Amway." And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. So I was like, okay, look," I said to him, "Look, I didn't have any bad experience with Emma. Look, I don't. I think this will be interesting. Look, I'll be happy to stick around and check it out." So I ended up, staying for at the PBR. After that, when it's time for people to sit, we walked to this like little this like a room. It was so huge, and the chairs were all white. And I'm like, "Oh, am I? This looked like a wedding or something to me, like a wedding or something like that." Anyway, so I sat on the second row next to Angelo's partner. Obviously, I haven't met her yet, but we started obviously to chat, and obviously find out obviously she also had friends that I also knew as well. So some mutual things going on there. Yeah, so I said, then this presenter come up. Now, this presenter, he's from New Zealand. Like, just from his accent, he's a Kiwi, right? He used to drive trucks and things like that. But I guess the reason why I'm doing this video is actually share you two things I actually got out from the Amway PBR. Now, you're probably thinking like, now you want to picture some Amway stuff. Nah, not at all. But two things that I found very, very valuable, and it's very resourceful, that I thought to share to actually make this video, so we can all distribute it to everyone who's in your health, who's still doing your health, or maybe still interested in obviously getting back, so we can share these videos with them, obviously, because after chatting to Justin, I started having all those crazy thoughts and ideas and things like that. So just to kick it off, I'm sure you guys know back in the day last year when we used to have a lot of PBRs, weekly PBR, right, and trading with Rob King, right? Usually the leaders, obviously, they have been script already been pre-designed for pretty much, for even if you've been to different multi-level marketing, there's also have been script that have been sort of had results, and through from people that have been in the business for a very long time, and actually just get us to utilize the same system that then gives us that result, which works out all the time. And obviously that's what the leader's role to do was to enrich us and to equip us with skills so we can get those results. And if I can remember correctly, when we used to have meetings or trainings at Rob King's house, it used to be where we share ideas and stories and pitching, and how we pitch the business to potential prospective, right? One of them, if I can remember correctly, goes like this. They say, before you answer the phone, just make sure you have that excitement, that energy, that positive, that enthusiasm, that when the other person is listening, they'll be like, "Wow, this guy's on fire." Not like a boring grandma, right? So usually it goes like this. "Hey, Peter, man, what's going on? It's Levy." "Ah, man, not too bad, Levy. How are you?" "Ah, not too bad, Peter. Look, I'm just in and out between meetings here and there. I thought I should give you a really, really quick call. I don't have much time," right? Sense of urgency, right? So, look, what are you doing next week on Monday? And Peter will like, I haven't got anything much planned down. Look, I'm usually watching Netflix, right? Look, Peter, look, do you think you can keep that 7 p.m. available? Look, I've just got some potential clients that I'm working on this absolutely fantastic, this amazing opportunity. Look, you're my best friend, and I don't want you to miss out on the information. Can you make it, right?" And Peter usually be like, Netflix or meeting people, right? All right, look, Dave, look, I'll just because you're my buddy, I won't watch Netflix on Monday. I will come on 7 p.m. I'll show up. And Dave will like, "Oh man, great, fantastic. Look, let me send you the address and I will see you." And usually in between, before the actual events usually happens, you usually do a follow-up call to make sure that your prospects are coming to that event, right? So this is how obviously we used to do it. Obviously that pitching there. So What I've seen done in Amway completely blew my mind. It completely blew my mind. I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Because what this gentleman have used, I can't even remember his name. He used an analogy that relates to everybody on a day-to-day basis. Like literally an analogy that you don't even need to look up the sky and try to imagine or gaze, whatever. It just made sense, right? Whatever came out of his mouth, it just made sense. So I actually wrote it down, just to make sure that I'm actually saying it correctly. I actually wrote what he said. All right. So if you have a pen and paper, I'm gonna get you to grab a pen and paper, right? And I want you to write this down, because if this is the way this gentleman was able to acquire that Emirates was paying him $85,000, for a free trip in any country in the world, right? Imagine the power of this particular pitching that we can utilize, right, as a testing and see what incredible results we get, right? Now remember, I just shared with you, a pitching sample of what we used to do it. Now remember, in every network marketing company, they have used pitching technique, right? That were solid, that were created by those who got the results, right? And those that got those results then share those ideas or those calling pitches, so that we can use those, to pitch to a customer, or to somebody who's a prospective, who potentially a prospect that's gonna be part of the business, things like that. So I thought I'd share this with everybody, and I'd really would love to see what results have you actually gained out of it. Because like I said, even if you go to Amway, they will have, guess what, a script, obviously, that's been obviously developed and been used many times over by those who have achieved those results. So the same thing apply here. So there's no change, no nothing. It's just obviously a different pitching, that another guy that used it, that gave him that result, that he was able, or the company was paying him and few other people a free trips that was worth thousands of dollars, right? So here's what the pitch is. So hope you got your pen ready and paper. So this is the pitch that he uses, right? This is what he says. And just think about it, let it sink in for a minute. Because I guarantee you, like I said, you don't even need to imagine it. No. It just sinks in your mind straight away. So this is what he says. He says, do you have a spare tire on your finances? This is what he said. He said, do you have a spare tire on your finances? Now let me tell you something. There was at least 30 to 40 people were in the room when he asked everybody and said, do you have a spare tire on your finance? No joke, no kidding, right? I can hear everybody was whispering, oh my god, spare tire on my finances? What is this guy talking about? What? This is no lie, no joke, for real. This guy made the whole entire room started talking to each other, because it was the first pitching analogy that I've ever heard in my whole entire multi-level marketing history, that a guy was able to utilize a tire perspective, a tire of a car, right? He used that analogy to really relate to people, to really communicate with people, and to really say to people that multi-level marketing, regardless whether you're Amway, Your Health, or Herbalife, whoever you are, right? If you can relate to people from your heart, genuinely, right? People will relate to you. Let's put it into context, right? All right. Let's give you another perspective. Let's go. Let's say you've got a car. Okay, your car has have 5 wheels, right? 4 are bolted on the car. You drive a long way, right? One day you drive, and then your tire went flat. Guess what? You're gonna grab your keys, you're gonna open up the trunk, yeah, right? The boot, you're gonna open up the boot, you're gonna grab that spare tire with the tools, and then you're gonna take off that old tire out, and you're gonna put the new one. And guess what? You're back on track, correct? Now let's put this, and let's put it another way. Let's say you're driving, right? And 2 months ago, obviously your tire went flat, like you replaced it, but you forgot to take it to the repair shop so that they can repair that damaged tire, right? And then you're driving, and then all of a sudden one of your tires went flat, right? Then you open up the trunk, and you're like, oh my goodness, I did not even service my tire. You're stuck. You can't go nowhere, right? You're stuck in the middle of nowhere, right? Let's say you get stuck in the bush. There's no reception. What you gonna do, right? And this is where everybody in this situation where with people losing jobs, people are in the bush because they don't know where to go to. They don't know they don't know what help they can ask for so they can be helped. And this is where network marketing is a fantastic opportunity because we get to share that idea to people, right? And we get to share the opportunity. We get to help people achieve amazing things, right? We get to give people a chance to be able to create a spare tire on their finances. So if something does go wrong, they'll be like, I don't have to worry about it. I got a spare tire on my finances. I'm good. As opposed to the other person or Joe Blog, right, that's got no tire on his finances. He loses his job. He becomes redundant. Right? So that experience blew me away. And from that point onward, I had to call Justin and say, you know what? Time to get back to your health. Because I wasn't expecting to be at an Amway PBR. It was just a surprise, right? I found out at the last minute when I was there. But you know what? I said to myself, I'm here to enjoy the experience. And I did enjoy the experience. And I got 2 things out of it. And one of them I just shared with you is that pitching to a prospect in a way that is so creative, the prospect will relate to it in so many ways. Believe me, I was blown away. I was incredibly blown away. Now this guy, this speaker, I don't know what he does, how he does it, but he was able to articulate what we are struggling with at the moment and what network marketing company or network marketing business can do for them. And no kidding, I kid you not, after the whole PBR finished, there were people signing left, right, and center. There were, like, literally, no joke, people started the business on that night. There were 30 to 40 people, approximately, that came to that event. And I witnessed it with my own eyes. People started signing up on the spot. Because that guy, that speaker or that presenter, he had magic relation, if I could call it that way. He had this magic on him that able to attract people and able to relate to people of everything that happens on a day-to-day on our daily lives, and how network marketing company is the vehicle to give people that life that they're looking for, or that success, or the aspirations, right? This is what network marketing is all about. So I hope you sort of wrote it down. So I say it again. This is the pitch that this gentleman has used. The pitch that he used goes like this. Do you have a spare tire on your finances? Do you have a spare tire on your finances? Right? Makes sense. Just made sense. Just made sense. All right. The second thing I'm going to talk about is that Amway through Network 21, they actually have their own apps. It's crazy. They have their own app. And what's so great about it is because imagine yourself, you just signed a prospect, became part of the business. And our leaders like Rob King, Dave Nelson, they always say you gotta keep them plugged into the system. Give them tools. If they got questions, you can put a three-way call with one of the upline or mentors, right? That's what our leaders taught us. They taught us we should keep newly prospect in the system. Recognize them, give them a shout out, right? Introduce them to the link where they can actually get materials for presentation, things like that. Links to like audio, right? So there's obviously step by step on what you do to make sure you follow on that the perspective is in the system, in the culture that the culture that your house has created, right? But what Amway is doing, right? Instead of handing materials like CDs or magazine, they're great. It's still a fantastic tool. But guess what? They actually have those audio discs. Like let's say you sign up a prospect, right? And you're gonna say, man, I'm glad to have you on the team, this and that, right? And let's say you follow the steps on that. Imagine yourself, you actually telling this perspective, hey man, I know you're in the team, everything. Let's get you started. I'd like you to download the Your Health app. This app is absolutely fantastic. It is so amazing. You need to get on it. What you're gonna get out of it is that there are like audiobooks. I know you're into that personal development. Man, we can hook you up with like these audiobooks that you can listen to, right? Right? And you can also like be as part of this community of awesome people, right? This is what they have in the Network 21 MY app. They have an audio section where you can actually as the team leader, you can let's say Rob King says, hey Levy, man, I'm glad that you had your friend is part of the team. I want you to send him this Jerry Clark an audio book, and this one here by this guy here, or maybe by Tony Robbins. Send him those three. So instead of me say, hey man, what's your Facebook or what's your email, and send them the link, they can actually get access to that in the app. That's crazy, right? So like you can basically you can assign them like some sort of a the one that was given to me by Angelo, it's giving me like a 30-day access, right? Which I'm gonna take a screenshot of it as well. I'm gonna post it on the group page as well, so you guys can see what this app looks like. Yeah, so it's kind of like even if that prospect hasn't joined in yet, right? But then they say, look, oh, I want to read more things, or I want to watch more video, because the app itself, it has a section for video. So talking to Justin brought up the idea that the leaders, right, or the mentors or the leaders can then post training videos, right? And those training videos can then help clear the questions that this person was asking about, right? So the perspective can be like, oh, I just want to ask questions because I just want to know that it's not one of those pyramid scheme, right? That's what we've been trained about as well, what tools that you can utilize just so you can give that information to that perspective, so they don't sort of go like, oh, this is a pyramid scheme or whatever. I'm sure you guys have heard this. Rob King always talks about it. So imagine there was a video like that one of those leaders or the mentors explain what the business is all about, what multi-level marketing is all about. So this perspective is not getting the wrong idea because he had the bad experience and then he thinks that it's a pyramid scheme, right? So these it absolutely blew my mind of how MOA are doing it under Network 21 leadership, is that they have an app that you can pretty much get the prospects to obviously log into the app. They get access to audio books as they can be plugged into the system. Any questions that they may have, let's say a prospect may have questions about the industry, then you might give them like, let's say like a 48-hour sort of like an access code where they can watch things or like tools or things about network marketing, about the industry, so they are well informed, right? So this is something that I thought to share so we can all put in some ideas, guys, right? So we can obviously talk to like Dave Nelson about it. So Dave can also talk to Dennis Wong as well, as an idea that, we want to really bring that culture back again, that culture of your health, right? That culture that was all about positive, enthusiasm, energy, all of that stuff. And because look, believe it or not, we all use handsets. We all got smartphones, right? So, the idea that Emway had, we can even take that into the next level, right? Where it could be part of that. Inside that app, people can read like the latest issues magazine, right? They can sign up through like a subscription, for example, to that magazine, right? It's absolutely crazy. It's just one simple idea, and I'm thinking about it now. Like, you can have all these ideas, we can brainstorm ideas, and that's going to be absolutely crazy. Now, the other thing as well that I thought about as well, imagine in that app, right? We have different classes to like the oil, right? Where like people can attend different classes of the oil, right? Imagine if there's a section in there for workshops, for example, oil workshops, right? Just think about it. Let's say we have motivated leaders from females and males that they want to push that oil, or pretty much the whole wide range of the products, right? And then if a customer is interested to attend the oil classes, they can actually go in and actually see the times of those classes where it takes place, and they can actually book for it automatically. So then we know how many people are attending, the workshops, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. I was even telling Justin Farina, like, because I work for Apple, right? And we do have an Apple Store app. In that Apple Store app, it talks about the features, and the features pretty much, it could be like new products or things like that. It's crazy. And then there's a section where you can actually scroll to the bottom of the app, right? It will actually tell you. It will actually show you like, we have workshops. So like, people when they buy Macs, for example, or iPhones or iPad, for example, right? They want to learn about how these products work or how they can use it to their own advantage. So we normally recommend to them like, hey, you need to jump onto the Apple Store app. You got to check it out. It's an amazing app. Now, this app has a lot of benefits that's going to help and support you along the way. You can actually see all the classes that we have for like, all of our products that you can book in for them. So you can get some classes for my like training, for my untrained creatives, things like that. So this is what's happening right now with Amway, because they have that app that allow the people to tap into those resources and be in that system. And it's absolutely crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys got some real I hope you guys got some real information out of it that we can obviously share among everybody. Share this video as well with anyone that you know, right? Because this is where your health, everybody who's in the organization can start obviously throwing ideas, and those ideas can turn into from imagination into reality, and just it's just crazy. Like, I can't even stop talking about it. I can't even stop, and the video just gone for almost 30 minutes. But look, guys, the experience was amazing from Amway. Look, even if you had to go check out other network marketing groups, whatever, like Justin said, you don't even need to be there to learn everything. It could be maybe one or two or three ideas that you can pick up, and then you can utilize it to yourself, right? Or just see where it actually takes, But just make sure before you do that, just have a chat to your mentors, to your leaders, and pass that idea to them, see what they think. But hope you guys enjoy, and yeah, looking forward to hear all those comments from everybody. Thank you.